Welcome to the Christmas edition of Stakehouse, the spiciest podcast about the Tezos blockchain, where we bake blocks and break down the tech with a side serving of chaos. I'm your maitre d' for the evening, Father Tezos, if you will, and I'm joined by the usual bar stewards, Germán, Blangs, and Cryptonio.
Hello.
Let's go around to introduce them. So Blangs is here with that voice that's so thick you could deep fry a chicken in it, serving up wisdom crispier than a Tezos transaction. Cryptonio's with us, and I haven't seen him for ages, so I'm expecting to hear juicy stories of minting NFTs or DeFi investments. And we have our tech expert, Germán. He made the mistake of calling me an old guy on X yesterday, so I intend to get my own back on him this evening.
Oh.
He says he lives in a gated property, but he says he also gets regular meals and exercise every day, so maybe he actually lives in a prison. Either way, he's here with us today. A note of seriousness for us all, though. We don't represent our employers. All of the views presented here are our own, and occasionally we'll talk about cryptocurrency. Don't take anything we say as investment advice unless you want to lose all of your money, all of your possessions, and live in the gutter forever. So let's start with cool things and highlights. Let's grab a virtual mince pie and a glass of wine and get on with the show. So picking on Greece's finest Tezos expert, Cryptonio first, what are your highlights and cool things, sir?
My cool thing. So I was just looking, on forum Tezos Agora, where we got another proposal for the ecosystem DAO, and I think it was cool to see the like 3 different proposals get funded in the past like 2 months or so. So yeah, I was pretty excited about that. The third one is about to get funded. Like the voting went well. The community voted for the proposal, and now we got a new one. We're gonna see how that goes. So yeah, the ecosystem DAO I think got some pretty cool activity the last 2 months or so.
Excellent. I'm going to lose the hat because this is actually too hot.
Are you getting hot?
I'm getting very hot. I've turned the heating off in the house and everything. I cannot cool down. Yeah. Right. Well, so who we got next then? We have Blangs. How's Phoenix, Arizona, Blangs? Is it still hot there? What's the climate like?
I mean, I wear hoodies and jeans. It's kind of cold. This is that period of the year where we get really cold, but most people would come here and probably be comfortable in t-shirts. I don't know. Huge temperature swings never hit anybody well, I don't think. I mean, if it's like a 30-degree swing, you're going to be cold at the low end and hot at the high end. So, we're resilient.
Maybe. Splendid. And what's your cool thing? What's your cool thing?
Well, I got a chance to sit down with this amazing couple in Patagonia. They live in the mountains and they use Tezos to mint all their art. They actually run it's not so much, it's a residency. That's the technical term for it. I want to call it a collective because there's a group of people that have grown around it. But it is a residency. You can go there and stay for about a week, a little longer than a week, and you get to stay in the mountains, get inspired, and create art, and then mint it on Tezos. It's pretty cool.
That does actually sound pretty cool. And I think the problem with that is that Germán's got to come up with something cooler. But I mean, you've had the flu, haven't you, Germán?
Yeah, I got the flu, and maybe that was a trade-off for the previous 2 weeks that were actually cool because I actually got to meet these wonderful people that Blanks mentioned in person while I was in Buenos Aires in November for Dead Connect, and we had a couple of Tezos events that we are going to maybe touch a little bit later on. And yes, I managed to meet a lot of people from the community that I knew of or that we talk regularly, and not just mentioning perhaps this amazing group of artists that we have in Latam, but also perhaps some OG bakers that we talked every day with, some of them like Libertes, but we have never, been in real life together. So that was, I guess, I think kind of like one of a highlight, I guess, in the last few months. So
cool. All right. But last time we did this, you'd locked your wife out of the house. Have you done that again this evening? Or, I mean, did she come back? Are you okay?
It was, yes. Actually, we're still married, and I did double check that I haven't locked her out today. Hopefully, because it's raining cats and dogs outside. So I'm not sure I got to, I can get away with the mishap again.
Right, fair enough then. What's my cool thing? I've forgotten. We've done a load of stuff like we normally do. We deployed Etherlink, a new Etherlink test network on ShadowNet. We deployed a Tallinn net test net. We're going to talk about Tallinn later on. And also, we're beginning to see bakers moving to the BLS keys as well. Captain Steak, who can't be with us tonight, has done that. He's already moved, I believe. I mean, personally, I've been working on side project, which is here, Kisses on a Postcard. And the team have got a script almost for that, or a screenplay. So lots of stuff going on. And I did get a question between Stakehouse 1 and today's, are the dogs going to be in your house? Because last time, if you were observant, you could probably hear 2 sausage dogs barking for the entire episode. The first time I did the Chief Baker's night off, they slept. They barked right up until we pressed the button to go live, and then they just slept. And then last time I put them downstairs, and they were just barking like all the time, going out into the garden. And my neighbour Tim said there must be something wrong with Chris because his dogs are in the garden barking. So they all thought I'd died, basically. And then he went onto Twitter because obviously rather than knock on the door, you just go onto Twitter, wouldn't you? To see has Chris Pinnock died? And he saw the stream, so he said it's all right, everyone. All the neighbours, the blue lights stopped, and I am still here. So yeah, the dogs are not with us tonight. Right. Are we drinking anything, gentlemen? I mean, some people don't drink, but as you know, I do occasionally get the wine out. I've got this, sings it's me, I've got this nice Portuguese wine, which has got pictures of Lisbon on it, and it's very nice. I've had this before online. I don't know, anyone else having a little... It's obviously a bit early there for Mr. Blangs to be drinking. Herman, have you got anything there?
Yeah, I also have a bottle of red as well. French Pomerol wine. So a bit of Merlot for the special occasion. But yeah.
Okay, Cryptonio, anything in your hand?
No, I'm kidding. I have some beer, some local beer over here. I also drank quite some wine the past few days. We have some like a Christmas village here in my hometown, and they make this warm wine with bunch of cinnamons and stuff, and I love that one. So I've drunk too much.
Glühwein, Germany, and wine. Yeah. No, I haven't.
It was pretty cool. So today I just wanted some beer, to cool off or something.
Yeah, fine. I mean, I as you know, I gave up beer in 2023. But the other day I was just walking up to the pie and mash shop, a very English thing, and I saw a pub, and I needed to go use the gents, so I popped in and had to buy a drink. And I thought, pint of ordinary, please, and had a beer, which is very unusual for me. We've got a new feature this week. I don't know, Blangs, are you ready with your new feature? But some of us, including me, tend to go off onto rants, and that means that the podcast goes on for about 7 hours. So unless you're expecting the Joe Rogan, we have got the sound of despair, and we're going to introduce that now. Blangs, play the sound of despair. Can't hear it, Blangs.
I'm not playing the sound of despair. Remember, that's not the right one. That one is condemning to the content. You have to play the gong. That's the one.
Okay, well, let's play the gong of despair then.
You play. Who is the gong? There it is.
Right. Okay. So Blangs this week is in charge of the gong. So if Blangs feels that any of us,
I don't have the gong. I have the horrible condescending noise. That's the one I have.
Okay, we can just for
I have the gong.
the audience. Go on, play the condescending noise.
Oh,
See, we
Price is
spent
wrong.
a lot of budget on this, and
high budget.
Blangs is in charge of the gong. So if anyone, including
No.
me, yes, you are.
No, I'm in
We
charge
gave you- we
of
gave you an
condescending noises. Cryptonio
gave-
can be in charge of the gong.
Yeah, I
Have
can.
you got the gong?
I do. There we go.
Right. I mean, we gave you an extra $5 to be in charge of the gong, Blangs.
You screwed up. You paid the wrong guy,
You
but
have
I'll
to
take it.
change
Thank
that
you.
over to euros now and give it to Cryptonio. Or I suppose
Bring it
Don't
over.
do that to
use the
me.
decentralized currency, like I don't know, Tez, for example. Right. What have we got tonight then? What are we going to talk about? So we are going to talk about Tallinn, the new protocol. We're going to talk about DevCon because Herman spent a lot of time representing us there, and we're going to talk about a few other things. We might touch on my AI fatigue that I have, which we'll go into perhaps into detail, and then I've been deploying. I've got some scripts to deploy nodes which I've been updating this week for various reasons, and possibly other things too. So let's jump in. Tallinn has passed the exploration vote and is in the cooldown phase. So everyone needs to be testing the Tallinn protocol and shaking all the bugs out. Not that there are any, because we don't put bugs in our software, you understand. And then in a couple of weeks, it will go into the next voting, so that we make sure that we really, really want it, and then it will probably go live. Herman, what's the date for go live? I've lost it. Is it January sometime, isn't it? I mean,
January 20. It will drift a bit, but it will be 23 or 24. So it's drifted already. Yes.
Right, now this is another, as you know, what normally
Will you be on holidays?
Yes, exactly what I was getting at. Will I be on holiday? No, I will not be on holiday. So it's going to be the second successful protocol switch that we do when I'm not on holiday. So history is in
doesn't
the
feel right.
They missed it this time.
It doesn't feel right. You got to be on holiday.
Yeah.
You got to be in the middle of
We gotta buy
downtime.
you
You got to
some
wake up
tickets.
at like. Maybe you should be in Buenos Aires. Maybe you should be in like Florida, so that when this hits, you got to get up at like 2 a.m. or something.
Well,
It'd be really good for
that
you.
did happen once in Florida. Yeah, I did have to get up at 2 a.m. But I think this time I'm actually dog sitting, so I've got 3 dogs to look after. So no, we will not be going on holiday. Anyway, so who wants to go over the features of Tallinn then? I don't know. Probably our resident tech expert, Germán.
So are we giving the gong an opportunity? I guess right away.
No. With the gongs, it's early days. Yeah, it's early days.
Yeah. So Tallinn is had a.
Oh, just kidding. Go ahead.
That was a test.
Okay.
It was just a test.
Okay. I didn't even get started. Tallinn has been cruising through governance. So far, it has been quite smooth. The real test will be that we are going to do much of the promotion period in between Christmas and the beginning of the new year. So it's a bit of I hope that be good boys and don't forget to vote because it's Christmas. In terms of features, so basically there's 3 major stuff coming with Tallinn. Perhaps one of the most important ones is that we will continue in this path of reducing latency on layer 1. So basically, we're moving from 8-second blocks to 6-second block times. This won't be a major change. It might be a little bit, spooky perhaps when we always do this, because there's always this tension of saying, will the network be able to hold? And in this case, it's kind of, we have been doing the homework for some time. So we know this is, for instance, within the capacity of the network, and it's basically on the same path that we started almost already a couple of years ago, when we started lowering from 15 seconds to 10 to 8 and now to 6 seconds, right? So of course this is not just improving the user experience on layer 1, because lower latency and faster finality implies that we have faster settlement for applications on layer 1, but it also it also implies that that we can move faster on the layer 2 and improving the settlement capacity that they have on layer 1, right? So I think this is perhaps on the, let's say, infrastructure side, one of the key things. And I guess the key point is that we keep on this path. So if you notice, we haven't altered the minimal hardware requirements that we have from last time, and this is kind of an important thing for us, especially for bakers. We don't want, we want to keep baking on Tezos affordable, or especially on the hardware part. We cannot have true real decentralization if only 100 people can afford the machines, right? Because this leads to concentration of hardware, and this leads to issues. So if we want to keep having a variety of baker profiles with many home bakers baking off the shelf, this is perhaps the important bit. So this is then the other feature, I guess. It's also a continuation of what we've been doing in Seoul. So Seoul introduced the ability to use BLS and consensus keys, as Chris mentioned in the intro, for signing blocks and attestations, and also basically introduced the feature of aggregated attestations, which allows to save space in the block by compressing all attestations signed with these keys together. And this is again kind of like a gradual step towards bringing improvements and making layer 1 leaner. So one of the features that comes in Tallinn is that we do the next step. Now that we have this feature live and people is advancing on adopting the different signing solutions available, we are ready to kick off the next stage, which is allowing every baker to attest at every level. So today, the way that the consensus algorithm works is like we select a number of bakers that part among the 264, let's say, that we have active today, to participate on attesting the next block. And this has kind of a bit of two drawbacks. One is that we need to compute all these committees. The second one is that this creates a little bit of a subtle difference in between what 66% of the stake means versus 66% of the attestation committee. So it creates some invariance that affects maybe not that much the security foundations, but does perhaps affect more like the computation of rights and the rewards, right? Because also one of the things that entails is that there's a large variance in, especially for the bakers that participate less often, in rewards. So if we can get rid of that, we will get like a leaner, simpler consensus algorithm. And the way that we propose it is with Tallinn is that once at least 50% of the bakers cross the barrier of to start adopting the BLS signing for consensus, we will
Those are the TC4 addresses, right?
Yeah, it's a TC4 addresses, which are the ones powered by BLS signing scheme. So once we get to, let's say, I guess it will be around 134 bakers adopting this signing mechanism, we will adopt this first change, which is getting rid of the attestation committee, and everybody will attest on every block, regardless of what signatures they use. And this is important because some people get confused with this, saying that it's this is currently so this is kind of the next step, and we are preparing down the line for the next protocols other changes in the simplification of how the consensus algorithm works that basically depend are interlocked in a way with this feature. The third one, it's kind of like a small need, but it's I guess an interesting one that can help for layer one, but eventually maybe next year as well for TestLink, is that we sort of created an internal registry for basically for Michelson applications for deploy smart contracts. Why? Because this was an observation that we had that if you look at the smart contracts on layer one, there's a lot of the storage is used in storing addresses, other contracts, or other user accounts, and this putting the full hash occupies an amount of space, and this is repeated across the information that we store on the blockchain a long time. So this basically the index registry, what it provides is kind of an internal global identifier for each contract that gets deployed. So smart contract developers can store its index, this index again, which is just a shorter number, which is you need to spend less space, and then the protocol will redirect to the address of the contract. So basically, it's a little bit of compression that we can use because we have this common data that is being replicated across the context, and this is not a migration, so people will need to adopt it in their new deployed contracts, but this will allow us to save some space for future
for the new contracts, right?
Yeah.
Do you know how much space roughly that it saves? I read something like up to 100 times. Is that right?
Not off the top of my head, but we are moving from it's between 15 and 100 because it's instead of 22 bytes, which is what we need for an address hash, we will occupy between 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the new smart contracts will be indexed in that registry automatically. Anything that gets created will be indexed in there. Okay, and I suppose all the old ones as well, right?
Yeah, but they need to register. But I'm saying what we need to adapt, what the code needs adapting is that contracts that have already are using the storing addresses in full, they eventually will need to migrate to a new version of the contract that uses the index.
So that will be like adding another call in the contract. Like how will it work? Like you remove the big map and you add a new call.
So you use in your Big Macs, instead of storing the address, you store the index, and then you have a call because there's a like the Michelson support that provides you the mapping for the address that you need to unfold from the context, and you can basically then, if it gets cached, you are only reading it once, so it's basically like it's just one level of indirection, if you want, in a dictionary, which is not costly in terms of computation.
And on your previous point that you mentioned regarding the getting all the bakers to attest at every block, if we get above 50% adoption of the TZ4 addresses, the BLS, right? I have seen a bunch of bakers around, I think, that have started changing to the TZ4 addresses. Like, do we have any, I don't know, do we track how many are there, how close we are, or something like that?
I think just cutting in on that, you have to, I mean, Germán, you keep me honest here, but you need 2 TZ4 addresses if you're running with the DAO as well. You have to have a companion key. So it's worth, if bakers are looking at doing it, it's worth getting that set up now, because we also need them to run a DAO node as well. So you need a companion key and either a baking key or a consensus key if you're delegating it, but you need to have the 2 keys.
That availability there, right?
Yeah, and I think the docs are being updated to reflect that, because I don't think it's necessarily obvious on the first pass, but it's all, I mean, it's all there. So yeah, you need to.
Yeah, and going back to this, Yeah, we are. We don't have like a quick dashboard, and something that we might address kind of in the short term, especially before we get to Tallinn activation. But I think that from the data that we're getting from the indexer, I think we were looking at maybe 20, 25, approximately the number of active bakers. Some even quite recently, especially with I'm seeing like the current cycle. Yeah, so we are in cycle 192. Okay, so these guys are adapted. We had 3 bakers on 2 in the last cycle. So 2 yesterday, another one the previous day. We have 2 bakers on. Okay.
Well, I mean, Captain Stake, who, as I said earlier, can't be here tonight for reasons we don't know. He has switched to BLS keys already. So yes, he has. I believe he has a companion key as well.
Yeah.
I would just like to say that Chris is definitely not Captain Stake. Just definitely want to make sure that everybody knows. Definitely not.
Definitely not. We cannot possibly be the same person.
I have seen Captain Stake and Chris at the same time, and they were not the same person.
We had them both in a space.
We did. That's right.
Up on the stage.
He came to my 50th birthday party, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's very strange because it was actually his 50th birthday party. Very a couple of
coincidental.
Coincidence.
Did he pay for the damage? I mean, he got a little bit carried away. The captain.
No. From what I understand, he never did pay for that.
Yeah, I mean, he's having a tough time. I mean, up on the planet Staketon, the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion is very, 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 blurred in their law. So I think that's probably why he spends a lot of his time here. And also, his missus is giving him a load of jip as well. Anyway.
So, before we diverted, one last bit on the BLS signing. One of the cool things that we have on mainnet is that we actually have the 3. So we have currently 4 alternatives for signing. A specific apart from hot wallets. So we have the Tezos RPi BLS signer, the open hardware developed by Matic Labs. That's already been used on mainnet. So we also have the test signer by
Test Capital.
But Test Capital also has been it's already been used on mainnet. So we have the Rossignol signer, which is also a third option being developed by another community member. I'm not sure if it's been deployed on his baker on mainnet, but I think so because he switched to recently, so maybe it is. And of course, they have like the solution using secure enclaves or secure environments GCP or enclaves on AWS by Signatory. That's also being used by by ECAD. Soon other bakers that have like a cloud environment, right? So it's that kind of things, because one of the important keys here is kind of like we are moving perhaps into a more interesting scenario in which we have open source projects for signing hardware that in a way inspire each other's, and we can all learn from what works in one and in other as we advance. But one thing to bear in mind especially is that in particular that especially the Tezos RPi signer, we insist on the fact these are proof of concept. We haven't been fully audited, so it's kind of they are on experimental stage, and by bakers to be careful about what they do and make sure they test them on testnet and understand what they do.
I mean, they haven't perhaps been audited, but I think one of them is Octez Signer, right? Which is fairly safe, and you just got to make sure that all the default passwords and so on the machine are not the default ones anymore, and have a bit of common sense about where you put it on your network. But
it's not. It's a similar secure. I mean, the need to take usual precautions as well, similar to how you're deploying your baker, especially when you're deploying on an open network. But yes, and of course we have really nice tutorial, including some videos, on how to assemble them and how to deploy them on test networks and start experimenting.
Yeah. So I'm going to direct people to Tezos Agora, because we've got 9 days left of this testing period, and then bakers will be voting again on Tallinn. Go on.
He doesn't get the gong or the sound for using the wrong term. It's cooldown period, not testing.
No, he runs a show. There's like an inherent rule we can't use the gong on him. It was like, when you weren't here, he was like, okay, we can only use it on Germán. I was like, okay, that's the rule. I'm going to stick to it.
That's definitely not true. I never said that.
It's so true.
Okay. You're right, but actually, TZKT calls it the testing period. But
exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Thank you for your support, Cryptonio.
Remember, I'm not on the gong, Germán. I'm just, making up excuses for the guy who is.
But so for the next one, I get like the technically incorrect sound, whatever.
The gong can be used on any person on
except Chris. That was the rule.
No. You are the guardian of the gong. You can use it.
I am not the guardian of the gong.
No, jokes aside, I'm the one using the gong.
Okay, well, you're the guardian of the gong then.
Okay.
Honestly, make your mind up, guys. Seriously. What we should do is we should have a governance process to decide who's the guardian of the gong.
Spin up a
the gentleman guardian of the gong.
Anyway, you're not doing very well because you haven't used the gong. But you didn't use the gong because I was kind of right?
Right.
Anyway, so the exploration
kind of right?
Yeah, because both are correct, both cooldown and testing, because testing is mentioned on TZKT, shown on TZKT. Yeah, I'm like the attorney here.
So everyone should be testing hard, and then in 9 days, on 27th of December, as we're all recovering, I'll be recovering from lots of turkey, I would have thought, but 27th of December, the bakers need to go and vote again, and then if they vote positively, in January, we will have the new protocol switch. And I suspect we'll be doing a podcast. Well, some of us will during the switch for that extra live fun. Okay, have we sort of done Tallinn? Do you think anything else on Tallinn that we need to talk about?
I have a question for Germán. Why was it 6 seconds and not, for example, 5 seconds? Would it affect it much more? Like, how does that 1 second, affect the hardware requirements at those levels now?
I cannot honestly answer that. Maybe that's a question for the core layer 1 team. I guess it's probably maybe that 1 second might be a lot of difference at this moment.
Use the gong.
I was about to, but then he said probably it would.
Yeah. Well, I think probably being open and honest, they did a load of tests, and that this was the next obvious block time.
Yeah, because Germán also said that going down to 6, they didn't increase the minimum requirements. So I suppose
exactly that was one thing. So there are a few constraints, but I think as we go forward, we've got Teslink coming soon, and we're going to start doing more things in the layer 2 in a roll up, and the layer 1 is going to become, over a period of time, not next week before anyone panics, but the layer 1 is going to become a fast settlement and staking network. And you're going to probably see, because it'll be simpler, you're probably going to see the block time come down again. So there's a lot of things going on the layer 1 at the moment. You've got smart contract engine and so on running all sorts of stuff. If in, say, don't know, 2-3 years, perhaps I should say in n years for suitable n, if you've got your smart contract engine in the roll up and you're offloading it from the layer 1, then maybe you can start doing more optimizations. So all these changes that are coming in these protocols are chipping away towards the Tezos X, vision and roadmap, to make the layer 1 exceptionally fast, simple, and settlement platform, and to push the intelligence into the edge and the roll-ups. So that's the way it's going. So I think 6 seconds was a good target, and I know they did a lot of tests to see what was practical with the current way things are. I mean, if things are changed elsewhere, they may be able to get the time down further. I'm pretty sure they can. In fact, I know they can because I keep my ear to the ground. I didn't get gonged for that. I thought I went on a little bit too far there, but I didn't get gonged. So
this takes us actually lower than the Ethereum L1 block time, right? Although I know that there are no any other blockchains out there, they don't exist, right, Chris?
No, there's only one blockchain, as we know.
I didn't think there were other blockchains. I thought there was only one. I don't remember the. What is this? What did you call it? What do you call it?
Yeah.
I lost. I was reading it out of somewhere. I lost it. Sorry again.
Etherlelum.
Well, look,
it was a fork of Etherlink.
Oh, is it? That's what it must be. It's a fork of Etherlink. It has to be something new. They just can't. I don't know. I don't recognize this thing you speak of.
Whatever it is, we're all in trouble. But look, when I went to buy this bottle of wine earlier today, I went to Sainsbury's and I went to the till. This is the example I always do. I go to the till and I try and buy it. It takes me longer than 12 seconds. And 12 seconds is a transaction settlement on Tezos. 2 blocks, 6 seconds in the new program.
Finality, right?
Yeah, finality. Yeah, so that transaction is settled. Whereas if there were other blockchains, I don't know, Bitcoin I've heard around, the settlement times are obviously longer on that. And Tezos is.
Did you say
fast.
Bitty Boop Coin? What did you call it?
That's right. That's exactly what I said.
Like the beep boops, like Robot Coin or something.
Absolutely.
Is that another blockchain that doesn't exist? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, there's various other blockchains that don't exist. There's only Tezos.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right. We did Tallinn. So the next thing I have on my list, because we do vaguely plan this. We spend about 5 minutes before the show planning it. Is DevCon. Now, who went to DevCon? I didn't. It was him, isn't it? Helen, what happened at DevCon?
What happened at the Connect? Yes. So we, a bunch of us, notably Beata from TechRel and other guys from Louis and Teresa from the business development team at Nomadic, we were in Buenos Aires in November for the Connect. This is indeed a major event in this other blockchain, the Eat Something environment. And wow, I got the focus. And so yeah, so it's not distracting at all now. So yeah, this was a very large event. So it was the first time also that one of these major crypto conferences takes place in Argentina. So there were 20,000 tickets sold. So that's a lot of people. And of course, there was like a large number of events going around. In particular, one of the reasons that we were there is because one of these side events is called organized by ETH Global. It's called ETH Global Pragma. So Etherlink was sponsoring this event. So it's a nice venue. It's a one-day side conference, but it targets notably builders, and it has a number of like high quality and slightly technical talks. So it compares maybe to TCC. You get less people that just go there to the merc and the merchandise go around and flip flop that you have in this event. So it's kind of like it has this vibe of being really focused. We were there, like some other familiar faces were there. For instance, some of the other people that we talked to partners like Redstone that are already working with Etherlink, and basically it was a nice opportunity to catch up with this side of the community. And then we had 2 Tezos specific side events as well. One, as I mentioned, we did organize this Tezos breakfast club, like we have been doing in different global events. And I say we organize, and it's a bit kind of like I'm taking the credit. The whole event was organized by this group of amazing trailblazers that we have there. In particular, Bosque Gracias, which is this artist slash collective of artists slash residency in Patagonia that you mentioned, but also together with Neutro, which is another collective of digital artists in Buenos Aires. And so they organized this really, this meetup was really cool, because to me it was like I said, it was probably the first unofficial Latin America Baker Summit. We were there with Libertes, with Seibo, which is an OG baker from Argentina, which is baking on Tezos since day one. There's a good opportunity for us to meet them, people from the ecosystem builders from ECAD, and also Baking Bad guys were also present, so it was a nice opportunity to meet, and also to meet all this really interesting art scene that we have in Latin America. And again, then on Saturday, Neutro and those people organized like an event like Art on Tezos Buenos Aires, which was kind of like it was a really cool, interesting event with I really liked the vibes. Had a bit countercultural vibes into it. One of the artists was doubly on show. I don't know if it's the right place, because Ekeko was not only exposing his digital art, but also was in charge of the asado and the barbecue. So he should still be commended for that. It was probably the best side event food that we had in a long time. And this was cool. It was really interesting to meet all these people, that use in a way the products that we built, and they were. It was
We can ask: is that the first one they've held there? Or are they going to do it again, or what's the story?
Of what, Art on Tezos, or?
Well, the general event you went to.
Oh, the Connect. No, this is a rotating one. So next year it will be in Mumbai. So it's not the first time that they were in Latin America, because I think they were in Bogota before a couple of years ago, and next year it will be in Mumbai. And for and also the Art on Tezos series of events is also quite new. It started this year with the first edition in Berlin, and then we had this one in Buenos Aires. So I don't know when it will be probably the next one, but yeah. And we also had fun because, Beata, she also gave a presentation in one of these side events on the Ethereum about the creative economy. We got also to sneak peek a little bit into some of the more technical bits. So there was an Ethereum, there was a lot of noise goings around in terms of CK for proving. So they have this competition to try to see if they can prove all the contents of Ethereum blocks. And there was an interesting track with different presentations. And there was the security and privacy track, where I think it's in a couple of interesting presentations there in terms of the ambitions that the EVM community has in terms of privacy, transactions, and whatnot. And it's a thing that we might have, we do have like a technical advantage there. So all in all, it was it was a very intense week, I guess, but it was quite fruitful, let's say. Also, the weather was great.
Yeah, it sounds great. Now, so that's in Mumbai next year. Now, of course, next year we've got the 30th of March. We've got TesDev, which is a bit earlier than it was last year, and it's back in Cannes, which is a beautiful place. It was very hot, last time it was about 32 degrees.
It
Quite,
was.
yeah. But this year it's in Cannes in March, which will be a lot more pleasant. And then, did I hear Blangs a TezCon in Seattle is being planned in the summer? Is that right?
Yes. For July, it is the weekend of the 11th. Let me get you the exact dates. It is, yeah, it'll be the basically that weekend, the 10th through the 13th. I mean, the official dates of the event will be the 11th and the 12th. I'm sure there'll be events going on beforehand and afterward.
Yeah, like last time. I mean, last time it was like a, it was a week, wasn't it, out there?
It was a
Yeah.
whirlwind week of events with the big build up somewhere around the middle end and sort of a tail off toward the end. If you were able to participate, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I made it to that one and then flew back to Cannes. Had a time zone issue for TESDEV, but this year they're at different times. Okay, cool. So Germán.
Blangs, is Seattle hosting matches for the FIFA World Cup in the summer?
So that's happening in June, and so that's why
Until
it's much
July,
later.
right? As well. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm
that's why
making
we're-
travel plans.
Yeah. So you might as well just stay because you'll be there.
Well, you'll probably need £10,000 for the final, though, won't you? If you go to it, it's quite expensive to get tickets for the World Cup.
Yeah, I hear stories. My parents are still living in the area. The murmurs in the airport when I flew through for TezCon, the murmurs were already starting about how terrible it was going to be. You could see the attitudes of some of the people working there. They're wearing it on their face and their shoulders. It was just, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It should be amazing if it works out. I hope you can enjoy it and make it. It looks crazy and fun.
Well, there. Yeah.
All right.
Any
other conference? Or do you want to? Have you got any more on that, Germán, or any other conference?
No. I was looking at when is the last matches are playing in Seattle.
Yeah, he's looking at the footy,
well-
not the Tezos stuff. Yeah, just for the record. Yeah, yeah. We haven't. It's a shame because this year I went to the Manchester United booth twice, which was rather good. So that has unfortunately ended, but I have to go and watch a West Ham play or something instead for my sins. Right, moving on. I think we can talk about this. Germán, shake your head if we can't, because it's been announced on Twitter anyway. So there is a bug fix proposal for Etherlink. And the reason I'm mentioning it is there'll be some voting over the next couple of days, which bakers should participate in, please. Make the governance process work. But this is very fresh off the post. So if you go to the Etherlink Twitter handle, which is Etherlink, it's the top post, and there's a lot of detail there about the fix. I don't know if you want to say anything more about that, but you can.
So the we do have a very comprehensive blog post, as you said, just off the press on the Medium's Etherlink profile, which is basically explaining the situation and how it's going to be fixed and why we want to do this right away. So it's to simplify a bit the story. So right after a few hours after the activation, because Etherlink 6.0, so FarFadet, activated yesterday at 7 a.m. UK time. We got this report that in particular, one report of a user that had deposits, FAA token deposits locked in the bridge, right? So we know Etherlink has several bridges. So we have what we call the EVM bridge, which is the one supported by Layer 0 that allows you to move from other blockchains, especially EVM compatible environments like Ethereum or, let's say, Arbitrum, directly into Etherlink. We have Champer and other platforms that allow you to on-ramp directly from other chains into Etherlink, and we have what we call the Tezos bridge, right? So this is the Tezos. So basically, this is the bridge in between the Layer 1 and Etherlink. And in particular, the Tezos bridge is two breaches. One is the contract that breaches Tez, and the other one is the one that allows to breach F8 tokens, which is basically the token standard for financial assets on Tezos, to an equivalent ERC20 standard for EVM on Etherlink, right? And what happened is that there's some technical issues that escaped the integration testing. Basically the users can deposit tokens, but they get from the layer 1, but they get stuck in the layer 1 because the operation that it's issuing the tokens on the layer 2 on Etherlink is actually being rejected by the sequencer. So basically the team scrambled. I don't know how much they actually have slept, but we identified the issue. We prepared the fix. It has to be a kernel upgrade, and it has to be deployed quite quickly because we want to unblock the bridge. So it's going to be using the fast governance tract. The fast governance tract resolves itself in 1 day because each period lasts around 8 hours. So voting will start around 3:30 a.m. Tonight, and then the most probably around noon is 11 something UTC or London time for the end of the proposal period, and then the promotion period will be in the afternoon, which will allow us to tentatively activate the kernel upgrade and restore functionality if bakers support us in this during the weekend. Probably
we have to kind of start pinging the bakers, right? To make
yes,
them aware.
so we have already started doing that. So we did it a little bit with a couple of large bakers that we already sometimes we use for situations that or we have done in the past for security upgrades. We chosen the dates after making sure that we had secure commitments to have the minimal participation, because the faster track has higher participation requirements. So like the slow track, which is the regular track that we just used to finish voting last couple of weeks. So each period is 4.5 days, but then we have like 1% of voting power requirement for the proposal and 5% for the promotion period, right? Whereas in the fast track, these are higher because we are making the decisions, let's say, more swiftly. So it's 5% for proposal and 15% for promotion. But hope that the outreach we have done yesterday evening, as the team was preparing the fix, we should be okay. And we will have an Agora post that we were finishing preparing before the stream started, published on later tonight on Agora, with the instruction for the bakers. So hopefully tomorrow morning we can, of course,
that's using the fast process.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to put that up because it's quite important. There's two. There's the slow and the fast, and you can see it all happening on the governance site, right?
Yeah, we can see that on the governance side.
Tomorrow we will.
Tomorrow you will, because today it hasn't. It's once the proposal is the kernel upgrade is injected, you will see it actively there on the governance portal, and which is cool because it's a nice feature. I don't like a lot of bakers have adopted this yet, but in combining the you can vote directly from the portal. And in particular, we now have, since a couple of upgrades ago, this feature specific to Etherlink governance that is allows the baker to set a voting key. So if you are some bakers have they are not running around with the ledger with the baking key. They have like large institutions with some processes to follow, or some multiple parties that need to sign authorization or access. So the voting key allows the baker to designate a different key to both. And in my case, even if I had my ledger like somewhere, it's still handy to have a separate voting key, because it's basically I just connect with Temple or with Umami or Kukai with the click and vote with 2 clicks. It's a nice. I think it's kind of been a nice addition that we have had to Tallinn governance. So yeah. Anyway, like I say, like the instructions to vote and a reminder of all this is coming on Agora.
It's a different contract to the slow
It's a different contract, yes. So if you're
People
voting by command line, you need to make sure that's why we are putting it on Agora. I need to make sure again that I put the right contract.
From the previous, there was a previous proposal which was a slow proposal, right? That's 6.0, and that was a different process, a different contract.
Yeah. So
all
it changes. Well, you know where to find me tomorrow if you.
Yeah, we do. Unless there's some work required, then we just can't find you. Right. Okay, that is Etherlink. Then I had a couple of other things. Any other topics, guys? What we're going to talk about for the next 2 hours? No, joking. Next hour. I have got a little script that I wrote a couple of years ago, which I needed to use yesterday. Perhaps we ought to talk about sapling. I don't know, Cryptonio, did you want to talk about that? But in a bit. But first of all, so I've got this script that will fire up a VM on Google Cloud, download Octez, install it, and then download a snapshot, depending on what history mode you want to use. And there's currently 4 history modes that are useful. Archive has got absolutely everything, but it's approaching 3.5 terabytes of data. Full has got everything except all the balances, which is a lot smaller. And rolling has got enough information for you to interact with the network. And then there's also Full 50, which is being used for a few projects that I'm working on at the moment. So that's got 50 cycles with everything in it. And so you can set up a node quite quickly. With an archive node, you've got to wait for the data to transfer. So it takes a couple of hours. But by the end of that process, you've got a node up and running and all the software is installed. So that's quite nice. I updated that yesterday to make sure it all worked. There are some hooks in there so I can put AWS and local stuff in there. And even, dare I say, Azure, if that takes anyone's fancy. Does anyone know anyone that runs a node on Azure? Because they've got a nice HSM product over at Microsoft. I don't know anyone that runs anything on Azure. Actually, I don't know anyone that runs anything on Azure, let alone Tezos. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone that's used it. I mean, I logged into it once and then realized I'd gone to their website.
Off the top of my head, no, because we have people. I know we have people. GCP, AWS, OVH, Holzner, from the information with some from our discussions with bakers, but I have never heard anyone say no. I'm on Azure.
Okay, well, I suspect that's due to some prejudice, but they have got an HSM product. It's probably worth a look. But yeah, basically, I wrote this so you could call a set of functions, and depending on what cloud you're on, you could call it. So at the moment, it works on GCP quite well. There's no reason why it can't be adapted to AWS. It's just that I haven't got the time to do it, and that's what I did yesterday. And I did that to test the archive nodes extract, which it's becoming quite difficult to manage an archive node. It's getting quite large. And
what is the size around right now?
It's about off the top of my head. I've got one on my screen actually. Where are we? I've got a node that I switched to full 50 and it hasn't garbage collected yet. That's got 3.2 terabytes of data on the Tezos partition. 3.2 terabytes. So it is big and it is growing. And it's when we start to hit the 4 terabyte thing, and powers of 2, it's going to be interesting. we might have to start to think about how we look after that data. And there's all sorts of things that people have proposed around that, like doing a regenesis perhaps, but I don't know how practical they are. Right, so that was one thing. So did someone want to talk about sapling? Because there's this project kicking around at the moment that's sort of.
So I had one question about your scripts because
yes, go on.
you know, I was not just making fun of you. You know, I was actually taking a look. It's kind of, but my impression is
old guy. Yeah, don't
yeah.
just put in there the date.
Yeah,
old guy.
No, I was going to say because kind of like when the script also kind of deploys the machine automatically, right? So it does everything. It's not just
yes.
Which is kind of like I do like I appreciate the use case, but you know my problem I have is that I don't have I don't have the superpowers you have to launch machines. So this is kind of like what usually
you do, because you can with your if you have a Gmail account, you effectively
I know my personal ones, yes, but
yes. Yeah, so you just need a GCP project for it to run. That's all you need.
Yes.
And if you don't have money,
I need a manager validating mine. So that's the problem.
Okay. Yes, it worked. But let's just say you were doing something at home and you had a credit card, you could easily set up a rolling node quite affordably.
Yes, I know. But yeah. But I was going to say, like, kind of like, if you got me inspired to productify a bit one of my shoddy attempts of automated deployment, and I started upgrading my an old project called Weekly Netter. So maybe you got a way to have fun at me back, and I'm planning to share it by the end.
I've got scripts running that I've had for about 3.5 years that sit there every week, and they sit there listening to the testnets updates. And if there's a new weekly net, it crashes everything, comes back up within 30 minutes. And that's still kind of working, but it actually builds from source. It doesn't mess around. Well,
I used to have something like that building from source, but now I hate to, nobody's listening. So I would say, like, I went against my principles, and I'm using Docker Compose for it. So
yes, I mean, Docker's okay. If you want, I mean, it's the equivalent of sending. It's the equivalent of sending a computer through the post, isn't it? It works on mine. There you are. I'm just. I remember before Docker. I had some. Sorry, you can gong me if you want. So today I was talking to a supplier for something outside of work, and the supplier told me they couldn't use bold when they sent out a letter to the people that it was being sent to. They couldn't use bold, and this was around about 2:00, and my coffees were wearing off. And I said, back in 1984, I could use bold on my BBC microcomputer. And that was my rant of the afternoon. Can't use bold in a letter. Anyway, we digress. So, sapling. Do you want to talk about sapling?
I mean, I think there are not much to talk about yet. Just maybe we could mention that Umami implemented it, I think, recently. So you could have shielded transactions by using Umami.
Yes.
I played around a little bit. Everything seemed to work fine. I mean, like, you could shield your Tez, you could send them to another shielded address, and then you could unshield the Tez normally. A cool thing was that I think they have set up a contract or an address to basically pay for the shielded transactions for the fee, because normally you would pay it from your wallet, or you would choose a wallet to pay the fee. And I think they have one in place because I saw another one being involved. I don't know, Germán, maybe you know more about that.
Yes, so the service of Umami Web, it's using what we are calling it a proxy. basically this allows you to avoid the potential leak of information that you have in the way that Sapling is implemented on Tezos, in particular when you are doing shielded transactions inside the set, right? Because basically you still need someone to pay the fees, the layer one, for the gas on layer one. And sometimes, this kind of happens is kind of users sort of don't think about this. And ideally, you should do this not with the same accounts. Like if you use this accounts to pay the fees, the same accounts that you're interacting to shield into and shield out of the pool, you are basically hurting privacy because you're leaking information. So the idea of the proxy is that this is basically taking the gas fees for on your behalf. I think at the moment on Umami they're this for free. They've been sponsored. The shielded bridge, I think they added this feature as well. But in the shielded bridge, you need to pay with shielded tests inside.
So sorry. Can you go in?
This was shorter than the previous one.
No, the reason I'm gonging you is I don't think there might be some people listening to us that don't know what we're talking about, right? And we're kind of talking about anonymizing transactions fully, right? Yeah, so you can, you can do a transaction on the blockchain. It's fairly anonymous anyway, but if someone can get hold of your addresses and start looking around at what you're doing, and this is much more enhanced. And we've had Sapling and Tezos for a number of years, but now we're revisiting it, right?
Well, yeah. So I think it kind of like we are building support. There's more momentum to support these kind of features. There's regulatory winds change a lot as well, which makes perhaps more appealing to people to use them, but also for people to actually build support for this. And it's kind of a question, it's not about hiding transactions. It's because, again, like you said, transactions in a blockchain like Tezos are pseudonymous. They are not anonymous, right? So all the traces can be there, but sometimes it means that the users don't have the control in the amount of the information that they are sharing, right? So, and protocols like Sapling basically enable what they're called shielded transactions, in which basically you can transfer assets within the pool with enhanced privacy more anonymously. It's not, completely 100% and anonymous, because of course there's always these interactions when what is called shielding, which is moving tests or assets or tokens inside a set, a contract that handles, or also unshielding, right? Because if you unshield from the pool, from the set into an account, basically from outside you were seeing that this transaction happens. And this is kind of important, that this kind of privacy preserving protocols works best when there's more volume and when there's more TVL. Because basically, if there's little usage in a set, and there's an account moving, shielding 100 and then unshielding 100 to even a different account, you can sort of all that information can be connected the dots. And there are many dots.
Doing a bad job. That's just doing a bad job.
Yeah, we need more of those. And just to add there that it's not about making it anonymous, it's about making it private, right? Like
private.
So
yes,
because we want to, like, let's say I want to pay you for a gig, for a job or something, and I want to send you 100 USDT or 100 TES or whatever. I shouldn't have to go through an exchange to go back to another address that will be fresh, so you don't see how much funds I have in my wallet, right? I could just use that to pay you without telling you how much funds I have in my wallet and making it public.
I saw a post today on X. It was not from someone on Tezos, so I don't know. Or maybe someone in the community reshared it, and that's how I got it. Specifically about that of a guy that had sent some stable coin, I think it was USDT and USDC on some network, and the reply is like saying, and the recipient, and I don't know if it's a true story, but it sounds true and it's good for the anecdote, said, "Oh, why are you sitting on those amounts of USDC? Why are you not using them in DeFi?" And it's about this idea of saying that you need to basically having the right, let's say, to share enough of the information that the system or the recipient in this case has, right? And it's not about hiding, it's not about.
Okay, that makes sense. So if you want to test this, you could send me, I don't know, 200 USD wrapped in any chain you like if you wanted to test this.
So as far as I know, on Umami right now, you can only shield and do shielded transactions with Tez, not tokens yet. We have Shield Bridge. I haven't tried it recently, but I think Shield Bridge allowed for shielded token transfers as well. You could shield tokens.
Yes,
but
and you can increase the set. So basically, like the Shielded Bridge, what it has is the contract keeps multiple sets, and you can add different FA tokens to it. And I think that
that is important, because I think that in many other blockchains they still don't have like shielded transactions for tokens.
Yeah, that's an advantage of like in particular in the implementation that we have on Tezos for the original in Zcash, because on Zcash you can only at least with this version of supplements or one we have so far, you can only shield and transfer one asset.
The native asset, right?
Which is also the case today on our implementation on Tezos. Like the difference is that what we can have is that contracts like the one that Shielded Bridge is using can have multiple. A single contract can manage multiple sets, so you sort of can have a multi-set asset. But for instance, and you can. But and of course you can transfer in between the same wallets, because it's basically like the same set. So yeah, that's probably perhaps one of the things that we might change.
Are they using the same set, the same contract? Like because that's another.
No, it's the same contract. So it's the same contract that has is the same. So the entry point is the contract, but you have like different one set for each asset. So there's a master contract that is the one that we operate, and then it has like
no, I was asking about if it is the same sets that they are using regarding Umami, Shield Bridge, and others.
Sorry, I misread. And actually, this is an important thing, because it's a good caveat. They are not using at the moment. The Shielded Bridge and Umami are not using the same contract. So, and I know this because I see the report by a user that got blocked in this. I mean, he was not aware that Tezos doesn't have one canonical shielded set. So basically, each contract can display different ones. And basically, if you cannot send cross sets, right? So basically, if you send to an address that your address in Umami, basically you are sending to that wallet, but you are sending to that shielded wallet inside the original pool, and you won't see them in Umami because of this. I know that this is something that we might perhaps would like to address in the future, because again, like I said before, it's convenient to have multiple sets, but ideally, for optimal privacy, all our tooling we should be concentrating in having the majority of the TVL and the traffic.
I don't think it would be convenient, really. Wouldn't it be more convenient to have one central, let's say, one main set, one main contract that all wallets use, so they grow the liquidity in there, so they grow not the liquidity, so they grow the transactions in there to make it more private?
I think that you want the flexibility from the design, and the idea of to have multiple sets. What it does through that kind of at the bootstrapping phase, like we are right now, at some point it will be more convenient to converge in the funds into a single set, and unless both are widely used, right? And this is something that I don't know. I'm talking to the people at the Umami team that might have looked into the future, because this is kind of I guess the first rollout of the feature that has been done for Umami web wallet. For in particular, for instance, if you use AirGap, which is the other wallet that has for some time enabled sapling, the sapling feature in AirGap, you can actually choose the contract, right? So you could basically operate with multiple ones, and this could eventually will help with this effort to eventually concentrate your shielded assets into a single set. And I'm talking to the team with the office. That's something that might be coming in the next iterations early next year.
There's also the one true wallet, right? Octa's client, which does all this.
Octa's client does, of course, allows you to, since the beginning.
That's not for normal users, guys. That's for you, for geeks.
And
like us, yeah, command line geeks like us.
Yeah, that's not for normal users. Normal users
are obviously, but yeah, if you happen to be on a VT100 terminal and you have to do a sapling transaction, you can do it.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to get these contracts to interact with each other, to have the sets actually interacting?
I'm not sure it's even kind of a thing in the current state of the art of that, because basically, if they can interact without unshielding, most likely they're already the same. They're the same set. I don't think it's the way that even the evolutions of the version of the sapling protocol we have implemented to consider that. There might be some other things that we looked into developing. I think Arthur had a post on Agora recently in identifying a couple of low-hanging fruits, let's say, for evolution, and perhaps even this aspect, for instance, of it's something that is worth exploring. For instance, is natively going multi-assets within the same set, rather. I mean, for a current user of the shielded set. Of the shielded set bridge wouldn't affect much, but it might actually be better from the privacy foundations and from other security considerations if instead of having a contract that handles multiple sets, you actually would be able to handle the multi-assets within the same set. That's something that we may do. Like, I mean, I'm not an expert on those topics, but shielded cross-set transactions sounds like science fiction at the moment.
It'd be cool if it worked, though. If they figured out a way to make that work, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but I think that you have workarounds. So basically, you could perhaps you could have like you could have some sort of service. You need to have the trusted party for that unshields and shields and sends on the other side. So if you want to do that, also trustless, I guess that it could be, it's something. But I guess that the point is whether the effort kind of makes sense on where the use
may I ask,
right?
May I ask just why not have just one big set? I mean, what is the flexibility that we need in that? Like, is it for changing or adding new stuff to it? Because you could probably deploy one main set that would be used by all wallets and not controlled by anybody or anything like that, and so you get all the liquidity, all the transactions in one set, right? If the wallets agreed to use that set?
Well, I'm not completely sure I have the answer. It's been a little while, and I might need to perhaps talk with
Yeah, I'm just trying to think as well, and I'm thinking out loud here. So maybe there is some good reason for that.
I think that the like you said, especially if it's a canonical one, and if it's a it might be sort of, it makes it a bottleneck perhaps for security on terms of like kind of you need to actually make sure that of the correctness. And also I know that for instance at some point, like the regulatory winds change a lot since Tezos first implemented privacy transaction to this year, right? And during a long time this had been headwinds for all these kind of projects. And if you have a canonical set like this, it sort of brings an association between the infrastructure, the people running the infrastructure, even the bakers, maybe the developers to this feature. Whereas it's something that you have when it's clear that there's like a user that be a contract generated, asset. There's like, to me, I'm not a lawyer, but these arguments at some point might also pay into consideration this design. So I know that it's been it's a bit of whenever you are discussing these kind of things, like especially private transactions, like the regulatory aspects and legal aspects, they go they had to be waiting, I guess.
And but we've seen some more action now. I mean, you remember the regulations and where the reason that all these privacy talks were being shut down back in 2021, I think. So now I think that the whole the field is kind of better. So that's why we start seeing more and more implementations across the board. And we have a question coming from the audience from Libertes, who is asking, is the OrCard implementation too difficult?
I think that it wouldn't be too difficult because it's also kind of it's already been deployed. But it's probably not just a question of just upgrading a dependency, right? There might be some effort to do. And I think it's kind of one of the topics that Arthur covered. There might be perhaps quicker wins because the orchard, I'm not an expert again, for what I understand, provides there are changes in the integration, it changes the underlying curves, it changes perhaps uses a little bit like maybe more hardened privacy features, but it doesn't mean that the implementation we already have is not good enough at the moment to basically give a higher push to the features that we have right now as they are. And I think I already answered the same question to Libertes in Spanish in a different.
Wait, now you've done it in English for everyone. Here. Yeah. Right. Do we have anything more on Sapling?
No, but while we are on the Umami wallet, do we have any clue if they are going to implement like multi-sigs, native multi-sigs or something like that, or they have already implemented? I don't know. Asking.
I
don't know.
I was promised this is in the roadmap.
Nice. That's a good hint.
But that's just in between us.
Okay, I won't say.
And the rest of the world, right?
You heard it here first.
Can you create a banner, Chris, please?
You want me to?
Yeah, and do an announcement on all our accounts.
Put it on for like 5 minutes to go through the screen,
Yeah, just send it out. Disseminate the info. Make sure everybody
Yeah.
hears it. Scream it from the top of a mountain.
Yeah, absolutely right. So we had a couple other things on the list to talk about. So I was going to talk about my AI fatigue. I'm going to take my Apple Watch off for this because I'm so tired. And why am I tired? I am tired of automatically generated sales emails. Dear Christopher, you got it off LinkedIn, did you? Because I have to be Christopher on LinkedIn to verify my account. It's my passport. So, dear Christopher, we've heard your team is expanding. It's news to me. And we want to give you 500 software developers in, I don't know, Australia or something like that. And my response is usually quite, to the point that we're a small organization that administers grants and investments, and we don't directly do these things, blah, 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 blah. But if I look at my junk folder, I've got about, a good number of these. So the AI-generated sales things, there's also the AI-generated security audit reports, which are now not including the name of the platform they're targeting even. So if you go back a couple of weeks, they did, at least they had sort of like dollar platform inserted it in. So now just getting all this junk in of generated reports, which are absolutely useless. And people are pushing these and trying to get bounties. Now, they must be succeeding somewhere because they wouldn't bother. So that's two things. And these things always come in threes. If we're doing the full room 101, we're going to put this in room 101. Not AI, by the way, but the AI fatigue is a lot of products are adding these feature sets and coming along and saying, hello, we're putting the prices up this year. Oh, we've got all these fantastic AI features that are basically our search in all but another name. So I'm getting tired. I think AI is a great tool. I've used AI to help me write books and verify things. It's a great tool, but I'm just getting tired of the way people are using it without really thinking about it. So I was going to throw the grenade out there in the middle. I mean, maybe the gong of despair needs to be played. I don't know, but guys, what do you think?
No gong. I think I agree. There was a nice video by that YouTube channel called In a Nutshell. They make a lot of science facts and topics they cover, and they were talking about the AI slope that is filling the internet in general, not just the emails, but it's getting out of hand. It's a huge number, a huge percentage of all the content that we have online now in YouTube, in TikTok, in Instagram, everywhere. There's so much AI generated content, which is bad. It's not even good, But because the new generations grew up seeing that, they get attention, and it's explaining it in a much better way in the video. But yeah, we are in a bad situation on that. It's not doomsday or whatever, but when it comes to content creation online and everything, it is a little bit tricky.
But it's not. I mean, to be clear, I do use it. I mean,
we all do. It's a great tool.
A project. One of my friends has just done a deck, and he's used it to generate the images of people in a particular time, and he's had to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, and he got there in the end. Oh, by the way, if ChatGPT or any other AI tool actually does something for you, you must say thank you, because when in 10 years,
money.
Yeah, they'll be shooting everyone, these machines, and they'll say, leave that one. He was always nice to us. Yeah. I don't. What does anyone else think? Or is this too controversial a topic for the speakeasy that we find ourselves in? Blangs.
Oh, I love
Do you
it.
use AI?
I love it. I use it regularly. It's my new Google search engine, but that's how I treat it. I don't treat it like a magic typewriter box that I can speak into and it produces golden nuggets. I mean, and unfortunately, that's, I think, what you're talking about is these people are squeezing gold out of something that doesn't produce even quality crap.
It's the fact that they put together such workflows because it is a tool. It can be used in some really great ways. It can be used in some really bad
Absolutely.
ways, right? And you can see that there are so many automated channels that create automatically created content with like they're taking clips from a movie or from whatever it is. They feed it into another tool or an AI agent, which gets the transcript and then creates a short narration out of that transcript, and then it feeds it, and it's all so robotic and so trashy, in my opinion, and it puts it out there.
It's
But it
reflective, Cryptonio. It's reflective. They don't know why they're doing any of it. They're just generating something that reflects what they've seen in a pattern over and over again. You lose
absolutely.
the
Yeah.
purpose. You,
Yeah.
you
So
take
when-
like a movie and you understand how direction works, you understand how camera placement works, you understand how focus and telling a story visually works. Then you make the story. You use AI in that sense, it's a powerful tool. When you look at the tool and you say, be a director, it doesn't think like a director. It recognizes patterns, and so it produces things that appear to be director-ish.
it's even worse because they might even say that the algo works that way, so make it that way. More cuts, more shortcuts, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, or whatever.
When I was writing my book, Learning Russian Verbs, available on Amazon for £10 as a EPUB and £20 as a softback, and soon as a hardback. Just saying, should anyone want to buy it, please. I did actually use Claude to check a few examples. Now, if you ask Claude to construct, this is a really interesting example. If you ask Claude to construct the future imperfective of a Russian verb, it will often get the examples completely wrong. I.e., the examples are wrong. And it's obviously learnt the textbook, and it's not sophisticated enough yet to understand the nuance that's required for those things. It will get there, of course. But at the moment, there's particularly with that area, there's some teething problems, like there were with Google Translate 2 years ago. If you put some things into Google Translate, it would get it slightly wrong. Whereas I would say now the translations you get out of that are pretty good as time has gone by. So,
Tez, I'm pretty sure 90% of the stuff we're consuming on mainstream media is can't see the difference anyway. Whatever it is, I don't think that's AI's not changing that. Yeah,
half the things I see on Instagram are saying, "How old were you when you discovered that you could cut an onion up with using olive oil on the knife?" So what?
Also, I hated that all the telecommunications companies and all the companies in general are using the AI chat bots now. And at least in my case, you cannot get through to a human support.
But that's by design.
Yeah, that's by design.
That's by design. I know.
We moved from like talking to people to chatting with somebody that follows a script to chatting with like trying to find the actual good path that gets you to a human, and it's
the problem for you there, I suspect, is the same problem I have. You've got a very specific problem, and you've already looked online and you can't solve it. So the chatbot is trying to get you to do all these things. Now, about 10 years ago, I made the mistake of trying to open a bank account for a trust fund. Right? There are only about 2 people in a bank that begins with the letter B in the UK that know how to do it. Absolutely ridiculous. And so you find yourself, you've got this layer of people that you've got to get through to get something done. And that's the problem. You've got this other layer of chatbot that you've got to get through.
Chatbot also is programmed to agree with you even when you're wrong. Chatbot is programmed to articulate incorrect, hallucinated answers as correct when it can appear incorrect. There are weird guidelines and rails in the way that it responds.
I would assume that it's not expected to agree with me if I ask him them to have the bill of my service.
If you tell it to disagree with you, it will disagree with you for a little while, but it will default back to agreeing with you because that is how it has been trained to interact with humans, is to be more agreeable than disagreeable. If you're looking for something to pick apart your idea, more than likely it's going to just tell you how great it is and how you're the smartest human on earth and you're the greatest and there's nothing better and this is how everybody else does it.
Which chatbot is this? Because I could do with some of that this evening.
It's all of them.
Right.
If you get down to it, if you really push them and you try to say, be objective and be like technically tear apart my idea, it will begin. But in the end, it is programmed to be more agreeable than disagreeable. And so it will gloss over things that are nuanced. It will miss context. It will not understand what you're looking for.
Whilst we're here, just as a mathematician, when you call up every helpline on the planet and they say, we're experiencing higher than average volumes of calls, isn't that impossible? That's not how averages work, surely. Not everyone can be.
It might be higher than average for the time period, but I mean, if you look on Google, you can see how busy a business is right now.
But it's always the way, isn't it? It's the same message.
Well, they have to placate you. You have to be okay with it, right?
They don't want to take your call. Anyway, I think that's sort of veering off AI, but it is being used to separate, putting another layer in between getting something done, and it does become a bit frustrating.
Just wait till AI can complain.
Well, I mean, soon it will be coming around your house and cooking your dinner, and then
if that's what you want. I mean, I don't think we should force that on people.
Fair enough. Skynet is the future. Right. Anything else to talk about before we close the bar? We're at an hour 36.
Not bad. We're pushing Rogan territory.
We are pushing Rogan territory. Yeah, I'm
still feeling judged by your tree, sir.
My tree?
Yeah, I was judged. I felt judged by it. I just have to remind you about that.
Which tree?
You moved it. It's not in there today. It was there in the old one, but
no, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm still feeling judged by it, though.
Okay, well, you could be judged all you want. Yeah, I don't. Part of my job.
So
you can discuss your feelings about it with the AI chatbot of your choice.
Yeah, is there a chatbot I could talk to about this, Chris? Do you know some?
Maybe. Right. So, before we do some parting comments to finish tonight, because it's Christmas, as Slade would say, it's time to be charitable. So I'd quite like to talk about some charities I'm supporting. I think one or two of you might do the same. So forgive me for doing it. So these are local charities for me, and I'll tell you what they do, and then what I would encourage people to do is go and find their local charities that do something similar, because these are very worthwhile causes. So HARP is the first one, harpsouthend.org.uk. They provide homeless people with a bed to sleep on. At Christmas, they do a Christmas dinner, and they obviously give people new clothes. They give them a bed to sleep in over the Christmas period. They can't do it all the time, but they do what they can for the homeless. So it's a very worthwhile cause. A lot of homeless people find themselves in that area in Southend, because if they're in London, they can be asked, well, we'll buy you a ticket to get you out of London, and they pick somewhere like Southend. During the summer, they can probably sleep on the beach. During the winter, it's a very different story. So that's them. And there are lots of charities like that around the world. So go find your local one. The other one is the Friends of Essex and London Homeless. These guys are completely volunteer. They do a soup kitchen in the local town here on a Thursday, and they do a soup kitchen at Charing Cross in London on a Friday. So they're cooking lots of food. They're providing things like tents for people to sleep outside, and sleeping bags, and generally looking after others. So they're the two local ones. There's something else that I've started to support in the last 9 months, because quite a lot of people haven't got it together, and they're lonely, and they don't know where to turn. So this is a charity I particularly like. It's called the Campaign Against Living Miserably. www.thecalmzone.net. They are an anti-suicide charity, much like the Samaritans, but they're very focused on people that are alone. They run a hotline as well in the evenings, and that's a worthwhile cause because there are many people like that. In fact, you probably find that you've got a friend that's in a bit of despair. So if you see something like that, do your best and have that chat that you might not have had. Now, I think Germán, have you got any that you want to look for?
Yeah, so I was checking the list. There's a couple of charities we've been supporting this year. On a similar note, I guess, to some of the ones that you mentioned, we are supporting our local food bank. So this is the Ealing Food Bank. It's kind of, especially in the, I think it's kind of well, not just in the UK, but I guess many places in the, let's say, in the world, notably in Europe, the UK, maybe the US as well, even Argentina, cost of living has soared, and you see, especially in many places, more and more people having to recur to food banks, even people that they have a day job that they have, but basically cannot afford to put some warm food on the table for the families. So this is, like Chris, you said very well. It's kind of I think it's important that you keep a local approach, let's say, and supporting local projects like this. Another different one that been supporting for some time is the Great Ormond Street Hospital. I think it's one of the biggest hospitals in the UK for basically children in neonatology, and they have a special campaign going on, raising funds for a new oncology unit for children and small kids. So this is gosh.org, which is kind of a good acronym, I guess, for a hospital, which is Great Ormond Street Hospital. And I guess I touching also this kind of comes apart from Candela's. She works in the city, and we have been supporting the Lord Mayor's appeal. It's called Better City for All, in particular, which is addressing homelessness in the city of London, but also in the East London area, because as Chris said, London is an expensive city that tries to that pushes people away, and there's it's hard to be it's hard to be homeless anywhere, I guess, but it's especially harder to be perhaps in some of these big expensive capitals of the world, right? And I guess that's our list this year.
Yeah, particularly at this time of year in London, and if you go further afield, it's impossible. I mean, the temperatures are just too low, so there has to be somewhere to go. Right. Anyone else before we close the shop?
I mean, it's local, but Phoenix Children's Hospital can always use a little donation around these times. They specialize in helping out kids. They've got a McDonald's house right nearby. So, I mean, it's a great company, great hospital. One of the few local ones I still appreciate. So if you're in the Arizona area, Phoenix Children's Hospital, please help them out if you can.
Okie doke. Right.
Yeah,
so
I don't have any to add because, they are pretty localized, like Greece, very Greece focused. But yeah, if you're Greek by any chance and you're listening to this, Act of Kindness is the English name of the organization, which has a bunch of campaigns around kids. And yeah, it's a really good one. Even if you go to their website, you can select what they do. And then obviously I would also suggest, any organizations around animals as well, because I've been volunteering and helping with a shelter we have here, a local one, and they need that. They need the help, not just the funding. They need the help. So pretty good.
Yeah, I think if people are stuck for ideas, though, the first idea is go and find your local homeless charity that's doing a Christmas dinner. And if you're sitting, say, as an eight people at your Christmas dinner, why not give 8 Christmas dinners? And then, you can tell your family that's what you've done from the family. That's one thing you can do.
One good thing in my hometown is that we don't have any homeless people here, at least in my hometown. Obviously, there are. If you go to the capital city, to Athens and the other bigger cities, you will find some. But here, thankfully, in smaller towns like mine, we don't have any homeless people around. So that's why we don't even have local organizations about homeless people, which is a good thing. But yeah, obviously, if you're in a big city, you also have to pay focus to that.
We don't hear, but also the soup kitchen helps out people that can't afford.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry, I wanted to add that
No.
because you mentioned the homeless people organizations earlier, but I wanted to make the distinction that it's not about animals first or people first, because I've seen discussions like that and it's really stupid in my opinion. You either love both or none, so yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
we can help.
you can only support certain things. And for years, I used to sponsor children abroad, and that's what I did for those years. And that's just come to an end. I think I sponsored 4 kids in the end, and they've all grown up to 18, and then you can't sponsor them anymore, and you lose contact. But you can just pick your calls. You don't have to give to everything all the time. So whatever floats your boat. Right, that's enough charity work, but humbug for this Christmas. We'll go back to our cold toast and putting 1 coal on the fire. Right, so closing comments then. Blangs, have you been playing any, before we go, have you been playing any different games since we last spoke?
I mean, just Arc Raiders. That's a real popular title. A lot of people have been playing. I dove into Reaper Actual for a quick minute. It needs work. As always, as an alpha does. To say that it's polished, it would be a beta, and it would be open beta. It would be something we'd be playing all. It's got ambitions, and I'm pretty excited for how it looks and where it looks like it's headed.
Good, yeah.
As far as video games go, though, man, I've been playing the crap out of Arc Raiders.
Arc Raiders. All right, cool. Let's do some closing comments. And so, Cryptonio, what should we leave these beautiful people that are watching us?
Closing comments. I haven't thought about it, honestly. I would say, with the holidays coming, make sure to kind of recharge your batteries. Family, go outside, do a hobby, touch grass, whatever. The market is like shit. We all understand that. So don't get stuck on the online side of things. Try to refresh yourself and recharge your batteries. Things will get better. We know that the work is still being put in, especially in the Tezos ecosystem. We know that there are some people putting serious work in all of this, and the markets are what they are, but don't let them get to you, especially now on the days that are coming. And also, I want to say that this was a pleasure again, like the first time. I think we will keep doing it, right, Krish? We will keep doing it every quarter.
We're looking at doing this every quarter. Yeah, because it's
and let's keep it like that, at least close to 2 hours, because the first hour the alcohol hasn't kicked in yet.
So we should do a proper one in Texas with coffee pots and talk about all sorts of stuff. Try and get cancer. That's what we should do.
Totally, yeah.
Herman, any passing comments?
Yeah, well, I try to not repeat what Cryptonio said. I think kind of like it's been, been an intense year. So I guess that everybody's looking to some quiet time, the family. But look on the right side of things. I think we have accomplished something. Be proud of what you accomplished this year, whatever it is, and let's bring it on next year.
Blangs.
It's that time to embrace family, friends, enjoy yourselves and the people around you. We're not doing this because we just want to see number go up, live on a yacht, and hate people. I mean, this is a bigger thing than all this. So don't forget that, Some people do want to live on an island with heaps of money and never interact with people. I love people. That's why I do this. So just want to say thanks for having me. This is impossible in a lot of other spaces. You can't exist like this. The things that we do here, the iteration, try, fix again. You have to be right the first time or you quit. And that's a weird way to live. I think here we embody something more practical. So
Oh.
appreciate you having me. Yeah,
Can
yeah.
I also quickly plug that we have the last community call of the year on Tuesday, Thursday, this Tuesday. So if you're listening, follow the Tezos Commons account on X. We will be glad to get to chat with you on Tuesday on our community
Would
call.
love to see you there.
What time is that?
Yeah, 8 p.m. UTC.
8 p.m. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll catch you all there. Me and Blanks,
Yeah.
maybe Chris, maybe Germán as well.
I've stupidly booked my bass guitar lesson over.
You can skip one. You can skip.
No, I've skipped 3 because I've got
Push.
an AWS recertification exam on Monday, so I've cancelled everything to do that. And then I've got one on Tuesday, unfortunately. So I can't.
All I hear is excuses. You better make it happen, Chris. No, I'm kidding.
You better make it happen, Chris. I'm kidding.
That's right.
Right. Anyway, so my passing comments. So the various seasons going on at the moment, whatever your season is, have a happy one and have a happy new year. We will be back with this probably around, I'm guessing, in March. Let's see what the world looks like then. And we will be doing, some of us will be doing the Chief Baker's Night Out on the night of the Tallinn upgrade, if it gets accepted, of course. So
provided
see you on the internet. The blockchain
could be the morning also. It looks like it will be the morning.
Well, that's okay. What you mean in the middle of the night?
Well, I mean, we will do the Chief Baker's Night Out, and then we do the the activation after party, I guess.
Well, the Chief Baker's morning off, sort of thing. Yeah, Chief Baker's breakfast
or morning in.
Yeah.
For once.
All right. Well, look, and happy New Year, and let's come back fighting and make 2026 the best year on Tezos. So I'm going to leave it all there and wish you all a Merry Christmas as well. And bye-bye. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Take care. Bye.
See you guys.
You guys.